Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
I saw that, Jar Jar.
Use the front door.
Hey, Tom Dog, how's it going? Hey, you are watching Splash Pages this Tuesday. Is it Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is going to be a fun show. Hashtag Poopgate.
I hear a theory that poop is not real. The poop is not real.
The poop is not. You heard it here first. The poop is not real.
Wait. Who the fuck is this? Is this guy? Okay, like pooping in NYCC. This is ridiculous. Interrupting our banter and intros, shitting on us. Again, it's like it never ends.
Well, anyway, we got a fun show scheduled for you. As always, we're going to be talking about Scooby-Doo Apocalypse, a bunch of stuff from New York Comic Con, and just having a fun with it. And, we hope you're having fun with us, too. And looks like a bunch of you are already watching. So, let us know. Say hi in the comments. Anyway, we'll get back to Jar Jar. How's it going, bud?
Hey, I'm going to drop the do and talk to everybody about Scooby Apocalypse tonight on this episode of Splash Pages. I forgot what I was on for a second. Whoa. Yes, and I brought a sweet shirt for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because it's chilly.
Ooh.
You've gone from sweating up there to freezing up there.
What was that?
Oh, he literally froze. Yeah.
It's so cold.
It's so cold. I froze for a second.
Yeah. And Drew, how's it going?
So like Scoob, we're on Splash Pages. Oh boy. Hey everybody. I switched to Shaggy Green for this because I like to prove to somebody that I do believe in more than just black graphic tees in my wardrobe. Yeah, we got a lot going on. There's a lot of great stuff that came out of New York Comic Con that not a single one of Splash Pages went to, but I saw so many people had a great time that I know and care about. There's a lot of news. We got a great book. And there's something else that's very special about this episode, but I'll let someone else on this show go with that. So, next.
Carrie, how's it going?
Going good. Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is Splash Pages time of Face Fuchsia Poop Share, Face Fuchsia Poop Share. I'm going to quit trying to read that. Hey, Tom Dog. And I want to welcome, my mother got me this for my shows this month.
Aww.
Aww.
I won't keep playing with him, but we do have Frankenstein's monster here with us to visit. So
Put that Frankie down. Finish my
yes,
intro.
okay. He's keeping the squirrel company. They're buddies now. They're going to go drinking together, though. So move on up.
Velvet.
Hey, it's your man Velvet J here on another award-winning Splash Pages podcast. And we do have a great show tonight because we're going to talk about New York Comic Con. We've got a few deaths to talk about. We're going to do a little bit of a tribute to a very great creator that we had on the show 2 months ago, but we're going to get to that later. But right now, we're going to get to Leo Pond, King of Splash Pages. Hi, Leo. How are you tonight?
Hey, Leo.
Hi. Hey.
Hey. Wow.
Do I need to wear a crown or something? Or
No.
You got to get that hat back on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
can't
Hey,
wear
everybody.
my-
I've set the time circuits to year 1995. It's a wonderful year.
And Drew, you're dressed with the green shirt. You're doing your best Shaggy.
Zoinks, Rich. We're on Splash Pages, man. This is going to be really great. Oh, boy. See, it's weird because I started, and then suddenly it starts to go side of Mickey-ish, like,
Hey,
yuck. We're
Come
on
on,
Splash
Shag.
Pages. We're going to get sued by Disney. Yuck. Ruh-roh. Okay, I just want to point out, I don't drink coffee because I think someone asked me that once, and I was like, "Do you want to see this on coffee? Why don't you just give me cocaine?"
And Jar, you started the show off. Are you saying Ming Chen is a liar?
Notice there's no video proof of this poop.
Mm-hmm.
There's no picture proof of the poop.
Mm-hmm.
There's no proof the poop has even existed.
Interesting.
I'm calling just as I see it.
So are you saying that this literally might be an actual load of crap?
It might be a phantom poop.
Leo, get on Reddit.
J-Bo's saying it was from a service animal in the comments.
It probably was.
Okay, see, that would make sense.
That would make sense.
See, that would make sense. But at the same time, clean up after your dog.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know
when your dog's dropping.
Because I was thinking, I was like, how the fuck is a human being going to be able to, in New York Comic Con, be able to pull down their pants, drop a deuce, pull back pants up, and then walk away without anyone noticing, much less. I was like, no.
It could have been a planned act of terrorism. You go in a bag ahead of time and just go fine.
When I saw this news came out, I scurried to YouTube to see if there was anything on it. And apparently there was a video from a couple years ago where a guy did his business in a mop bucket while the guy was mopping and a little fight ensued. So, yeah, apparently it can happen, Drew.
I'm shocked.
Or it was all a Baby Ruth. Really.
So I think Jar Jar, I think you're right. There are a couple of people on Reddit saying it was a service animal.
Okay.
All right.
Still gross, but that's a little bit more understandable than somebody just dropped a deuce in NYCC.
We've all seen those videos on YouTube, though. Like, there's some sick people out there.
Two girls, one cup.
I don't.
No, like
Let's
people
not
like
talk about it.
People the news.
Yeah,
you might have seen all those videos.
Face facts, it's just really crappy.
It's time for the news.
So we need to stress that there was a lot of news this week. Like it wasn't just comics, it was movies, honestly, we could just have a show where all we do is talk about NYCC, and we weren't even there. So we had to pick and choose, people. So if you feel like we should have done some certain news, well, then you start your own show and you report your own goddamn news. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
And once again, we ran out of room due to the amount of images that were needed to put up for the news.
There's there's so many variant covers. Oh my god.
Please stop making variant covers, people.
Yeah, we need to figure out a different way to do that.
I've got some ideas. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. All right.
Variant covers.
So I guess we should just get the news done, and then we can focus on our book and other things that we wanted to address. This isn't my show. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yes, that is the plan.
I thought it was 1/5 yours.
I don't know. I'm not good with fractions because I could have sworn it's also like 1/6 the squirrel, but
He's drinking. He doesn't.
I think she has to share her 5th with that nut. We're splitting the 5th.
Jeremy, we're not even 50 minutes in, and I'm going to say this to you with love. Get out.
All right. I'm sorry.
All right. So
I want that bug so badly now.
So before we get into the news, since I know we're still in the banter section, just want to say that why is my cable too tight here? Damn it. This is anyway. I pre-ordered Spider-Man 2 today. I just had to do it.
Spider-Man 2?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. No, the video game. The
Oh. I was like, that came out a long time ago, didn't it? Pre-ordering that.
He's finally ready to watch Spider-Man 2 starring Tobey Maguire and Alfred Molina and Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
The hype has finally died down enough where he can watch it. That's what that is.
So it looks awesome. It comes out Friday, so I'll let you all know how it is.
With the pre-order, did you get anything special?
It looked like some suits, like like all the games, you can wear different suits.
So Leo, when I was in college and Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, I had a roommate that literally told us. Well, it wasn't a roommate, but it was an apartment. It was like a dorm. Mm-hmm. And one of my neighbors, he was like, "Do not talk to me for 3 days." And I shit you not, I didn't see him for 3 days. He was just in his game, and he was just in his room playing Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts 2, though, I have to say, we waited a long, never mind Kingdom Hearts 3, but like Kingdom Hearts 2, we waited a long time for that to come out.
Yeah.
So
and so what I'm saying is, are you going to block out time? Are you going to send us a message that just, it's here? Do not talk to me till Monday.
I do have some vacation time that I need to use up, so it's maybe. But actually, the new Mario comes out that day too. So,
what are you gonna do?
Extravaganza at the pond house.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We might have to. I don't know if we're going to be seeing that. I did want to do something real quick, if it's okay too, before we go on to the news, and that's Tom Dog over at Brill Pro. Ugh. Sorry, Tom. Always gives us a big shout out at the beginning of his shows, and it's great, and we love you very much, and thank you for doing so. And you guys, if you want to go check out his show, check him out over on Brill Pro at YouTube, and I believe it's Tom Dog 247 just about everywhere else. He does a lot of reviews on things. He does video game stuff, pop culture, nerd stuff. It's a great time. So,
Jeremy, plug your show. Sorry.
Yeah. What?
I'll do that at the end, don't I?
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Good show. I'm sorry.
Anyway, thanks for coming, Tom Dog. We love having you here.
So if you want to see my new show, wait until the end of the episode, and then you get to find out where to see it.
Sorry.
Teaser.
Oh, boy. All right. So we're doing some news roulette.
Yeah. So we'll kick it off. So this week. Yeah, Phyllis.
This is old news again. Once again, this is like you buying Spider-Man 2. George Reeves has been around for a while.
Phyllis Coates, the first Lois Lane on the silver screen, has passed away. She first appeared in Superman versus the Mole Men, and then continued to portray Lois Lane in which was that? Was it just called Superman? Hold on, I have her IMDb.
Well, no, because I should have read all.
No, it was
Adventures of Superman.
Yeah, Adventures of Superman. Right.
Yeah, 24 episodes, and then she did a cameo on Lois and Clark in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
Did she play Lois's mom in that episode, or was that?
Yes, she was. That was the nod. She was Lois's mom. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was the nod to her reference in Lois and Clark. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the whole time I was like, wait a second. Well, the reason that it's important to note, I mean, again, 96. That's a great run. And
that's a fantastic run.
Yeah. And that was and I couldn't believe this because I saw the same thing, Leo. She passed away at the Motion Picture and Television Country House and Hospital in Woodland Hills. I was like,
that sounds like old Hollywood where you go to die.
Yeah. I was just like, I just imagine old Jimmy Stewart. That's where he went when it was his time. Just, okay. Well, I guess it's time for me to go. All right.
Well, I mean, you figure some of these older actors and actresses, it's definitely really sad to see them, in their final years. I remember at Super Mega Fest, I can't remember his name, but he was, what was the show Gilligan was on before Gilligan's Island?
Oh, it was like Gilligan's Island?
No.
Was it McHale's Navy?
No.
Lost in Space?
Might have been somebody from F Troop. And so the guy had to be pushing like 100, and they just wheeled him next to a table and like left him there, and yeah, it was like
that's horrible.
It was. And I saw like some young kids like going next to him just to take pictures, and it was like he was just like a statue, But like, we need to definitely. I'm glad that there's something in place to,
Well,
take
the
care
main
of.
reason is that anybody who played Lois owes a debt to her because she was the first one who did Lois in both TV and film.
Yep.
So all those actresses, Margot Kidder, Amy Adams, the actress who plays Lois Lane in Superman and the
Lois.
Superman. So sure.
Is it Superman and Lois?
Yeah, there you go. See? Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
All of them.
And I think they just did I could have sworn they did a tribute to her on Adventures of Superman.
Really?
The cartoon, the League of Loises.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, they're back in this episode, huh?
Oh, no. It's not back yet. I think it ended at like 6 episodes or 8 episodes, something like that.
Oh,
It already happened. There was an episode with the League of Loises in it.
Yeah, I remember that episode. I thought he was saying there was a new episode with the League of Loises in it.
No.
So, but in the end, we have to admire it. We also have to. I want to point one thing I found hilarious when I was doing the research for her. She wore the identical costume in every installment of the show. So literally, Lois always looked the same.
Okay, that would explain why when I was looking for pictures to put up, it was like, were these all taken from one episode?
No.
Well, it would make sense.
Although she did a little bit of burlesque stuff on the side too, by the way. It's kind of cool.
Hey, Miss Kent. Yes.
She's a very pretty lady.
Yes, listen, you can script to anything. So
I know this is expanding the topic, but who is the Lois that was in the 1978 Superman? Not the actual actress that played Lois, but remember young Superman running by the train, and then it pans to a woman and a little girl in a train.
I have no idea.
That's supposed to be little Lois, and then the actress next to her, I could have sworn was another Lois.
Really?
Okay.
We'll take your word for it.
Yeah. So
I will look it up while we move on to the news. So Carrie, over.
Next.
It's time for
the shadows.
It's the crypt. Wasn't that last week?
Yeah,
that was the 26th. We talked about the cover being released. But now they've dropped at New York City Comic Con some more information about it. So the summary from Marvel is, once more, as All Hallows Eve draws nigh, the dust-covered slab that seals shut the crypt, blocking out the sun and casting it forever in shadow, has creaked open to let the darkness loose to prey on the Marvel Universe. Be they mercenary or mage, guided by law or rage, our heroes will face their terror, and they'd best pray their spines are sturdy enough for the job, or the crypt they find may well be their own. But basically what happens here is that Doctor Strange's younger brother, Victor Strange, is going to start with one of the stories by welcoming the readers into the Sanctum Sanctorum to witness the events that play out in the next 4 stories. The heroes that are going to be in this one are Scarlet Witch, Deadpool, Werewolf by Night, Daredevil, and the Hulk. And the stories are as follows. Out of the Shadows. He's not in this one. He's on the cover, but yeah.
They put a man thing on the cover and not in the book?
They put a couple, they put a man thing and a mummy on the cover, and they're not in the book. But I think they were paying tribute to the other Crypt of Shadows.
Okay.
But we have Out of the Shadows by Al Ewing and Paul Davidson. Art by Brick by Steve Orlando, and the art by Paul Azaceta. The Living and the Dead by Kevin Scott. Art by Devmalia Pramanik. Without Fear by Declan Shalvey, and the art by Alex Linz. And A Soul Worth Hunting by Sarah Gailey, and the art by Eder Messias. We have variant covers also being offered by Lionel Francis Yu, Bjorn Behrens, and Paul Azaceta.
Cool.
And so, yeah.
Is that out?
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Is that out this month?
Yes, that is. I had the release date up. Of course I don't. Just a second.
It's
got to be now. It's got to be
October 18th. Yeah, it comes out on October 18th. It comes out tomorrow, actually. So
There you go.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Good
tomorrow. You can get that
Okay.
tomorrow.
Look, hey, listen, spooky
Comic-
comics are spooky comics. Like, I don't know if you guys got a chance, but I actually read the first issue of the Cap Wolf series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was like, okay. You know, it's basically a Marvel Elseworld. You know? So instead of him becoming a werewolf in the 80s, he becomes a werewolf during World War II. I was like, okay, cool.
That would be an extra super soldier kind of thing to do. You know?
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah. And then he wolfs out too.
Basically. So, all right. So, spooky comics, Doctor Strange's brother is the Crypt Keeper. Got it.
Very cool. And by the way, I was semi-right. So in 1978, Superman, as Clark is running by the train, it is a young Lois Lane that sees Clark.
Okay.
Her parents are played by Kirk Allen and Noel Neal, who played Superman and Lois from 1948.
Oh,
Look at that.
Nice.
nicely done.
Leo busting out the knowledge.
Yeah, look at you, Mr. Trivia Knight. And you know what you can do? Next on the news.
There we go. Okay. I believe this is you, Drew.
Yes. Oh my God. This is one of the.
No.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm very excited. Elseworlds are back, everybody.
I have that one.
Okay. DC has announced 6 Elseworld titles are coming back, which was announced during the Elsewhere in the DC Multiverse title. So 6 new titles. Some are continuations. Some are new stories. Pretty great. First one, if Leo can do that for me again, but pause. This one, Gotham by Gaslight. And Andy Diggle, Leandro Fernandez, 12 issues. This is a sequel to Brian Augustin and Mike Mignola's Gotham by Gaslight, which is where we saw a Victorian-era Batman fighting Jack the Ripper in Gotham. We've seen Master of the Future, which had basically the Batman fighting Ra's al Ghul. And then later on, we saw Gotham by Gaslight appear again during Countdown, where we saw that their world also has a Blue Beetle. This is continuing that. We're going to see more 19th century superheroes. We're going to learn more about their Justice League and the secret history of Earth and Krypton. So
I saw a Batman that looked like this on there, so I was like, "Hold on, what's that all about?"
Yeah,
The
that's Batman
with the
Barbarian. So that's Greg Smallwood's book, 6 issues. Human Target's Greg Smallwood, writing and drawing it. So basically, Caped Crusader, Wandering Barbarian, and a medieval version of the DCU.
Who is that? Is that going to cross over with there was a medieval Superman, right?
Yes, I don't know. I don't know if they're the same universe or something separate. And then what we also just saw with a Viking, that is a Viking Deathstroke. So that is one inspired by Norse mythos. That's from the Dark Knights of Steel universe. So that was Tom Taylor's little universe. So you have that's a spinoff. So you have All Winter sees Deathstroke wandering across a frozen wasteland and reluctantly becomes the protector of the innocent instead of a remorseless mercenary. 6 issues, everybody. So the next one was Leo just showed Green Lantern Dark, Tate Bromwell, Weather Del Adera, 7 issues, alternate universe. Evil has destroyed a sunless Earth. New Green Lantern is the only hero, but she goes missing, of course, when humanity needs her the most. The next one, Batman Nightfire, Clayman, Sethman. These 2 brother team, as we remember from Batman Catwoman, Clayman returns to Batman in a world where Batman has a secret that's so important he would rather Gotham burn than reveal his secret. This is also possibly due to a little time travel. So Batman flashpointed himself. The last one is a story, is a continuation of a story. This is from DC vs. Vampires. This is called World War V. Matthew Rosenberg, Otto Schmidt, 12 issues. This is the sequel to that popular series. So essentially we see humanity is starting to kind of beat back the vampires as the world has been without sun for so long. But now the biggest threat is an undead Barbara Gordon, who is now the greatest threat to humanity. So all of these are going to be out 2024. Personally speaking, as an Elseworlds fan, some of these I'm going to check out. Some of these I might read. I think one or two I might skip. So what do you guys think? Did any jump out at you?
Barbarian Batman and Batman by Gaslight are two that I like to go back and check.
I
Yeah,
kinda like
definitely
that
the
Barbara,
Gaslight.
Barbara Gordon angle sounded interesting. I feel like I just watched in Justice League War World sort of a Batman like that. So I don't know if I need to see another interpretation of it.
Yeah.
So,
What about you, Carrie?
go for it.
All the dark Batman stuff. I mean, I can just read Batman like nobody's business. I don't know why. It's an easy darkness to float in. You can get really deep there sometimes, but it's Batman. You know where you're at in the universe, even if it's really, really dark. So.
And what about you, Leo?
Well, I think it's kind of crazy that of the 6 stories, 3 of them are Batman stories.
Well, come on.
Yeah, that's
It's like
That's
sex
fair.
sells, Batman sells.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, come on, man.
No, I enjoy it. You know, I'll definitely check out the Batman stories. The DC versus the DC Vampires one. I tuned in and out for the last one, but like Vampire Barbara Gordon, like, you know, isn't the Vampire Supergirl like worse?
I would.
We'll see.
Well, how does she feed
Why
on
is it always
sunlight
the
if she's
women
a
thing?
vampire?
I don't get it, but that was one of the covers.
that's
they
true
had,
too,
so,
yeah.
Listen, guys,
There's some
suspension
science there.
disbelief. Comic books. So,
Well, also
Next time
she's invulnerable. Like, was it like a vampire with like kryptonite teeth? You know, like.
Good point.
I don't know what to tell you, Leo. But
Magic's an issue for Kryptonians, Leo.
boom, magic. So,
There you go.
but yeah, so Elseworlds are back. I'm super pumped. They're all going to be debuted sometime in 2024. Hell yeah, about fucking time. I'm gonna go next.
Ooh.
Thunder. It's
All
not
right,
my
so
story.
That is me. So Dynamite Entertainment is putting out a series of comics, and I'm sorry, I'm checking my notes. Here they are, including Thundercats, Flintstones, Powerpuff Girls, Wizard of Oz, and more, coming to Dynamite in 2024.
Oh, cool.
So they're just going to be moving forward with the series with new storylines and new artists, and we'll see what they've got to show us. We've got on Thundercats, we've got the writer is Declan Shalvey and artist Drew Moss, and the letterer is Jeff Eckelberry.
Okay.
So that is the first series they're going to drop, and then after that, they're going to continue with some of the other licenses that they've just acquired.
Okay. Cool.
I'd like to check out some Wizard of Oz stuff. I always like the fantastical.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to be good.
You should check out some of those Return to Oz comics. You know, I know Scotty Young did a lot of that, or like a Return to Oz. I heard they're pretty good, and they're really more accurate to the book than they are the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, check those out when you get a chance.
So what are exactly the implications with Dynamite picking up some of these titles? Because let's Dynamite and Warner Brothers, but didn't they used to pull some of these? Weren't they initially printed by DC? I thought and Marvel.
They get these licenses get handed around a lot.
Yeah,
I know Powerpuff Girls was with
IDW
for a while. Thundercats has been with Marvel, DC, Image. It's made its rounds.
Yes, it is.
Whoever wants to write it for a while will just grab it and go.
I mean, when you have to remember picking up a big license, you know, especially if it has a hefty fan base, that could be a huge boon for a company. Perfect example, you had Dark Horse doing Alien and Predator for the longest, and now those are both at Marvel. So, you know, it's a loss, but it's also a gain for whoever gets it.
Yeah.
But it's like Jar said, they come and go. So, all right, Dynamite picking it up.
Dynamite.
Awesome.
Nice.
So next one's gonna be me. So
Me?
yeah, so Jason Aaron, who's currently on Marvel's Avengers, and apparently he did a really good Thor run.
That's a crazy Bizarro.
I know. He's going to be hopping over to Action Comics in 2024. He is going to be working on I, Bizarro. It's going to be a 3-issue run. The artist is going to be a John Timms. And let's see. Apparently, the current writer has been working on Action Comics since 2021. And Jason will be taking it over in 2024. And let's see, what was it?
Well, Leo, if I can piggyback on that for just a hot minute.
Yeah.
He just wrapped up his Avengers run. We saw that he's going to be writing Batman at some point as well. And he's joining what's called the DC All-Stars. Or actually not DC, it's Superman All-Stars. So it's he's part of a first phase. So you have that, and then you have the next arc, which is Joshua Williamson and Rafa Sandoval. So it's a crossover. So that's called the House of Brainiac. So that starts in April 2024 with Action Comics 164. And Philip Kennedy Johnson is wrapping up his run, and then Jason Aaron's picking up from there.
Yeah, and the Brainiac looks like there's going to be a bonus Lobo story as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hop on comments real quick.
What's that?
I'm gonna hop on comments real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, Tom Dog saying the Thundercore.
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 Oh.
Yeah, that artwork does look awesome.
Yeah,
Right.
that Mumra, if that's Mumra, looks fucking scary as hell.
Yeah.
Well, Jar, you got a sword now. You're good.
Yes. I need a glove though. What is that thing called? The
Infinity Gauntlet?
No.
No,
I have
Power
no
glove.
Infinity Gauntlet.
No, Lionel's glove.
Yeah,
Oh.
Lionel's
Oh.
glove.
The
I don't know what they call that.
Thundera.
The Beastmaster's
I'll
Gauntlet.
go with that. The Gauntlet of Thundera.
Okay. The Power Glove. It's so bad.
It is. Don't get one.
But yeah,
Shit,
so
junk.
basically piggyback on that, Jason Aaron is at DC now, and considering all the great work he did at Marvel, that's a big win for DC. So
And Bizarro. I love Bizarro. I love Bizarro World. I love everything about Bizarro.
You mean you hate Bizarro?
Yes,
yeah,
you-
it's true.
Well, yeah. Me hate Bizarro much.
There you go.
There you
I
go.
never want to see Bizarro. I'm not even going to talk about it.
I'm getting flashbacks to All-Star Superman. I was like, oh god, I'm getting a headache.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Nice.
All right.
Me hurt
So-
your head.
Me no want next story.
Yeah. Moving on, I believe Carrie, this is yours.
Oh, yes.
Cheap.
This is awesome. This is brought up by a couple of people. This is a big, exciting thing. What we have going on here is Ghost Machine Media Company has broken out, and what it is a bunch of solo comic book creators are joining together to create their own company wherein all of the creators will own their characters. We have Brad Meltzer, Jason
Image?
Fabok, Gary Frank,
Oh, I heard about this.
Brian Hitch, Jeff Johns, Lamont McGee, Francis Manipul, Peter J. Tomasi, and Mael Zhut. And
Yeah.
there are going to be some other creators that will also be joining them after they get done with their commitments that they have to other publishers. The basis of this is that all of the founders are going to share ownership and the profits through the company. And they're going to be publishing, initially at least, through Image Comics, which also has a history of being created by independent artists. And they really hope to be able to break into new storylines, genres, and styles.
Mhm.
In the wake of the writer's strike, it's able to, this has affected comic book writers as well. And now we're going to new territory with regards to the creators and what they come up with, so they can finally own all of their work. It's just going to be a huge breakthrough for the whole industry, and all the fans who've been complaining about getting the spoon-fed the same thing over and over and over. These guys are going to be breaking out and just trying all sorts of new things to see what works and working together to do it. And So we should have a lot of fresh new stuff to go out and check out. So I really hope that they succeed in what they're doing with this. And to give you an idea of what they're going to be releasing, I didn't put up all the variants for this because you can see all of the things at once on that sign. But a quote for what to expect as far as books go is a two-issue prequel series, Geiger Ground Zero by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, is going to ship in November and December before Ghost Machine's first official release in January 2024 with Ghost Machine #1. That's going to be a 64-page special, which will introduce its 4 shared universes of the characters The Unnamed, revealing a mysterious group of genre heroes from across history, featuring characters and titles like Geiger, Junkyard Joe, Redcoat, and First Ghost. A Geiger series, based on Jeff Johns and Gary Frank's hit comic of the same name, is already in development at Paramount TV with director Justin Simeon. There'll also be Rook, Exodus, a sprawling sci-fi epic which takes place in the far future on a world where every aspect of nature is controlled by humanity. There's going to be the universe of Family Odysseys, centering around the time-displaced family, the Rockefellers and their friends. And then there will also be an epic horror universe co-created and illustrated by one of our secret superstar artists, to be announced, currently under contract. Following Ghost Machine #1, Ghost Machine's titles will begin shipping in April 2024 with an all-new ongoing Geiger series, Redcoat, and Rook Exodus. So that's what we can expect from them starting out. It's just
who do we think the hot artist is?
Oh, Jim Lee.
I want to say Jim Lee. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Alex Ross.
He's not under contract though. He's a what do you call those? Freelance. Yeah, he's a freelance.
Well, I honestly, I read this story, and by the way, this was covered by the New York Times, so that's a big fucking deal.
Yeah. See, I like the idea. I find that they're going to have a hard road to. I mean, the #1s are all going to probably sell out and go crazy,
right?
But it's the #2, 3, 4s, and 5s that you have to be able to sell.
Well, I mean, Jar, if you think about, but I think the other thing is that Geiger, Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, that was a 6-issue miniseries. It was really well received, sold well, and then it's a series in Paramount. So now, because it's a creator-owned book, Jeff and Gary, they see all the money, they get all the involvement, and they essentially reap all the benefits. But I agree with you. It's hard because Image guys learned that themselves when they did this back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of issues. Like, don't get me wrong, a lot of their books did well, but Image had a lot of problems,
Well, and having them as who they're printing through will be helpful because, like, if they've had all the problems, they figured out how to solve at least some of them. And they can help them kind of negotiate the road.
But I mean, we've seen this though. I think this is unfortunately inevitability because there's always been a lot of issues with like the big 2 is always a dream, but at the same time, we've seen there over the last, I'd say 10 years, we've seen a lot of issues with writers and artists about creative rights, work for hire issues, company and all that. So I feel like this is an inevitability. Plus, haven't we also agreed that a lot of independent books are sometimes far more engaging than a lot of the stuff the big 2 are putting out?
Yes.
Sure.
Especially in these modern times.
Yeah. Well, also remember that panel we covered at Terrificon with that lawyer for the comics industry.
Yeah.
And he was urging everybody to go into indie comics because that's where the money is made.
Right.
He said, you go to, Marvel and DC to like just for a name boost. But other than that, if you want to make money, independent's the way to go.
Right. Well, they have so much good talent in there. And I have to be honest, I'm excited to see what they come up with. Like that's going to be a really great thing.
Yeah.
And it looks like the way it was phrased in the couple articles that I read, that they'll all be supporting each other. So it's not, it's not just going to be Jeff and them just own Geiger and do stuff, but everybody will help profit as they work together on it. So that if some person goes out on a limb and tries something really genre breaking and new and it kind of flops, they aren't just stuck without being able to make their house payment while they're trying to maybe restart something else, So a big support network going on, and it'll be interesting to see who else joins up with them too when their contracts are up.
Well, that'll be good.
Yeah. Also, what other IPs will they start to get? Also,
it's true. It's true.
I mean, we just saw Transformers move between independents. And,
right.
Yeah, that was a really good move.
So next,
cool beans. Okay, grommets.
Yes. So, Marvel great Rick Morender has signed a 3-year contract with Image Comics, and the 2 series were announced at New York Comic Con. One was his book with the artist Bengal, Napalm Lullaby, and then this other one by Brian Posen and Brett Parson called Grommets, which has essentially been described as an 80s infused coming-of-age story involving skateboards. So the synopsis reads, in Grommets, 2 outcast best friends navigate Sacramento suburbs of 1984, where they find a home in the skateboard culture and punk rock. Grommets is an authentic look at 80s skate culture, a snapshot of the generation that turned skating into a worldwide phenomenon, as well as a heartfelt coming-of-age story following 2 friends from troubled homes navigating their damage in an era when no one cared. And fun fact, I didn't know this, and it's funny because I actually spent a nice chunk of my teens trying to be a skateboarder. Grommet is a term for an up-and-coming skater or surfer. So I was like, oh, okay. So since the 60s, it's been used to describe the next generation. Oh. So it's like you love the sport, but you're going to do your own thing with it.
I thought it was like one of the parts to the skateboard.
No, grommets are they're for like banners. It's like the little round.
Yeah, the little round thing. Yeah.
But I thought like a new person was a poser.
No, that's somebody that sucks.
Yeah,
that's what
you suck when you first start out.
Well, you're in shape when you first start out.
My kid doesn't suck. My kid's not a poser.
I like how he says that as he's sipping his cup. He's like, my kid's not a poser.
Damn it. I was actually looking at that and I was like, oh wow, she might like reading this.
Yeah.
It immediately made me think of Rocket Power when I first saw it.
Oh my God, yes, same. Rocket Power. Ancient Hawaiian. I was like, oh no. But
yo, dude, you're such a poser.
Shut the fuck up, Leo. No. Never. No, I would never say that. I feel like I was like, all right, that's strike one. I'm like, shit. So you got Rick Morender doing this. You got Brian Posen, who was part of the team that made Deadpool great with Jerry Dugan back in 2013.
And a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's such a delight. Both of them are. Rick is he did a lot of great stuff at Marvel. His Uncanny X-Force and Agent Venom run were awesome. Some of it, and his Captain America run was just as great. Even the stuff he did that Marvel event Access, which is pretty cool. And then you have Brett Parson, whose work I don't know, but I got to say I'm loving the style. I'm loving the variants. To me, this is a great story that. Again, this is another reason I love Image, because they like telling stories you don't typically see, and I'm like, yes, we need more of this.
Well, this is gonna hit home for anybody growing up in the 80s. It's going to the skate shops, the arcades, like holy shit.
Others lined up right there.
You know what, Leo? I'm just waiting for when they make they write a book called Snake Charmers, and then you like shut up and take my money. Leo will be like, are you doing an anthology? Do you need a story? Because I've got some.
Oh, is the Circuit Squad going to be part of this? I can
I can see Leo's story, House of Snakes. All right. So Grommet, that should be out April 2024, everybody. Keep an eye out for that.
That's a long wait.
I know I'm definitely going to be checking it out. So
Save your quarters.
save your quarters. Next.
Jar Jar. Moon
Hey,
Man.
that's me. All right, let's see if my computer can
that's
handle
you.
it. That's me. Well, no, not
That's
me
good
exactly. But get ready for a cosmic adventure like no other. Kid Cutie, also known as Scott Mescudi, the mastermind behind groundbreaking music, is now taking us on an exhilarating journey with his upcoming comic book called Moon Man. Co-authored by Kyle Higgins and brought to life through the stunning artistry of Marco Licauti and Igor Monti. This tale follows astronaut Ramon Townsend as he becomes a hero, saving his crew during a perilous moon mission. But there are secrets hidden in the shadows of the fateful journey, and they're about to reshape Ramon into something extraordinary. Unveil the mystery of Moon Man next year. It's a collaboration between Image Comics, Black Market Narrative, and Mad Solar that promises an out-of-the-world experience.
Okay.
But it looks really cool. The person writing it is a hip hop artist who's done quite a bit in the industry.
Yeah.
With, bringing it to a more modern feel.
What artist is that, Jar Jar?
Kid Cutie.
Oh, okay.
But
AKA Scott Mescudi.
Yeah, but I like Kyle Higgins. Also has done some great work. He did some early Batman stuff with Scott Snyder back in the day. He also was on Batman Eternal. He was one of the writers in part of that team. And if I did a little research on this, they say that it's a modern twist on the Miracle Man story.
Yeah, they very close to what's his name? Why am I blanking on his name? Who's the creator? Not creator. Who re-envisioned the Miracle Man?
Neil Gaiman?
No.
Alan Moore?
Alan Moore. Yeah. They say it plays real close to his storyline.
All right, that's pretty dope. I mean, listen, it doesn't surprise me. It's Image, and listen, we've seen a lot of hip hop, a lot of musicians really are big comic fans.
Well, especially over the past few years, a lot has come out of the music industry into comics. I'm kind of shocked. Like, I always sit there and wonder when, you see the variant hip hop covers or the variant whatever covers. And I get a little bit like, because you get worn out on variants, you're a little bit like, what's this got to do with comic books?
Right.
But then you realize that hip hop, especially hip hop, has a lot to do with comic books and the artistry and stuff like that.
Listen, no one's ever going to forget Punisher teaming up with Eminem, because I know I still haven't.
Right.
So, all right. So Moon Man, January 2024, everyone. Next.
Carrie, Hellblazer.
All right. What we've got going on now is a new DC Black Label series called John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America. It's going to be releasing on January 16th, 2024. And it is being written by Aaron Campbell and Cy Spurrier and Aaron Campbell. And it's a follow-up to their series that also had Matthias Berger in it. It was a 12-part series that was back in 2019 to 2020. And it is considered to be part of Gaiman's curated Sandman universe. So what we have going on here is Constantine is back from the dead, is back, but is dead. He's going to be heading to the U.S. at the behest of Morpheus. Swamp Thing is a little less than thrilled because they don't really get along too well. And John and Morpheus, we've seen them together back in Sandman number 3, and it was, if you've seen the show or the comic or whatever you remember, he helped Sandman get back his bag of sand. But the quote that we have for this one is, in John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America, John is cheated to death once again, but his heart's not beating, his body is decaying, and he, his friend Nat, and his son Noah are on the run in America, wanted for murder. Official synopsis for Spurrier and Campbell's latest Hulk Laser story reads, naturally, it's all John's fault. It always is. But as it turns out, Dream himself needs John's help. Something terrible has taken root in America, and it's using the Sandman from Dream's pouch to impose its will. If John could put a stop to it, he might be able to parlay that favor into a chance to saving all of their lives. But he's going to need the help from someone he hasn't spoken to in years. Someone he wasn't always all that kind to. Someone or something. But, yeah, so John already has an association with Morpheus's bag of sand, so I think that makes this a somewhat logical thing, because I think he was able to untie it, and I know his girlfriend was able to, even, or maybe he wasn't able to, but he definitely already has a connection going there with the gaming universe. So this should be really fun. Getting to see Constantine back with Sandman.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
I'm sold. I think this is going to be. I'm always down for horror comics, and especially, when Sandman characters are handled really well, it's always a good time.
Yeah, take my money. I'm ready for it.
Yep.
I love all the supernatural stuff.
And that comes out January next year as well. There's a lot of good stuff coming out next year.
Oh yeah, January is going to be a really expensive month.
Yeah. All right. So
there we go. Mephisto confirmed.
Get out.
Confirmed.
Leo, stop with your Mephisto-ness and give us the next news item, okay? There's a lot, and we still got to do the book, man.
Wrong universe.
Hey, I can help. Miss Minutes.
Oh no!
All right, so
that bitch.
We all know from the Loki show that Miss Minutes is a breakout character, voiced by the beautiful and talented Tara Strong.
Every day.
She has yet to show her face here in season 2 yet, but at New York Comic-Con this past weekend, at the Avengers panel, C.B. Cebulski, who's the current Marvel editor-in-chief, was asked by a fan, will we see Miss Minutes in the comics? Because we now, from Loki, we've seen Alligator Loki has made it into the comics.
Sure. That's right.
And Darcy has made it from the MCU into the comics. So now we have seen Miss Minutes on variant covers. Mm-hmm. So CB's response was, only time will tell.
Time.
Minutes.
Get it?
Oh.
The TVA. Ba-dum-bum. So we'll see. So even if that wasn't in his head at the time, it sounds like it will be now.
Okay.
It's a great marketing crossover, so why not?
Well, I have to say this. I haven't seen the season 2, so if anybody here has, please no spoilers, but I've heard nothing but good things, especially I've heard nothing but good things about Ke Huy Quan's QB.
Yes.
I've heard he is just a delight.
Mm-hmm.
I need to rewatch the last episode. Yeah,
Obi, right? Because his name is Ouroboros. Yeah, thank you.
I need to rewatch the last episode because some of this I'm still confused about. Like
what? Oh, you can't say
right. No. I said no spoilers.
Can't say it.
No,
right. I haven't seen it either. So.
Yeah,
Jar Jar, you saw it though, right?
Yeah.
I would have thought the first episode would have been more confusing, Leo.
Well, no, there was a hard cut at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some missing information, but yeah. It'll all tie.
I know all tie, but it's.
But I feel like, we're going to see Miss Minutes. I mean, come on. There was a time Harley Quinn made the jump from TV to comics, and she's still here. So I say it's going to happen. She's too popular. I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just common sense.
Never mind how much Harley Quinn's first appearance is worth in comics. Like, she's like up there.
Right. So can only imagine. So when Miss Minutes drops,
grab it right away, Leo. Get 50 copies. You never know. In 30 years, it could be another Harley Quinn.
Ooh.
Yeah. Don't tell him that.
No, Harley Quinn.
All right, move the next news before Leo has to put a third mortgage on his place.
Oh,
yes.
We're revisiting.
Okay, so
We're going back in time.
and we are, Rich, and it's crazy because I did not expect this, but I'm kind of really interested in it in the best way possible. So everybody, we know how much of an infamous moment Death in the Family was when, especially this issue 428 in 1988, when Jason Todd died at the hands of the Joker. Now, in 2023, they're going to be republishing it, but now we're going to have the alternate, never before seen unpublished ending where Jason actually survives. So everyone will remember back in 1988, excuse me, when they were doing this, they had a thing where you voted, where
live or die.
Yeah, exactly. So they because you had a 900 number, you called, you voted, and
I didn't.
fans dialed it. And according to what the totals are, from a total of 10,614 votes, fans decided Jason should die by a narrow 72 vote margin.
Ooh.
5,343 votes to we want the boy to live, 5,271.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
To know that there was that many people that had a heart in them. They were like, let him live.
Well,
What's
I mean,
wrong with you?
and remember, he was one of the longest deaths that stayed. I mean, now we all know he gets brought back as Red Hood, and he's had an ongoing relationship with Batman ever since, as Leo pointed out in other shows, with whatever Gotham War is doing to that. So, but disregarding that, because I don't want to set Leo off. He's been so good. I feel like we should give him a cookie.
I liked it.
So we're going to get to see.
You liked what, Jar Jar?
The newest issue.
Okay.
Please don't.
Okay.
Let me finish my story.
You read the rest of it yet?
Yeah.
138.
We'll get to the news, and then you guys can have the discussion.
Thank you. So, if you are curious to see how Jason Todd didn't die, what's called a faux simile edition of Batman issue 428 by Jim Starlin, the dear late great Jim Aparo, Adrian Ray, Mark DiCarlo, and letterer John Costanza, December 12th this year, everybody. I actually might get a copy because I'm actually curious to see how it really ends. So
that's true.
I don't know about you guys, but I own this comic. I have it signed.
I have it.
And I'm really curious to see what could have been.
I didn't get to vote. My parents would have killed me if I dialed a 900 number. It would have been death in my family.
Wasn't there a limit to how many times on those things, to how many times you could dial from one number to, or just how long you could stay on?
I don't know. I by the time I was a kid, this stuff was going out the window.
There's like some little rich brat who hated it, who was just going to everybody's house and like, kill him, kill him, kill him.
I don't know. Leo and Rich, is that about right? Or did you guys miss casting your vote as well?
Well, you had to have a broken finger, because if you did it,
oh right. Oh God.
You did it many, many times, you'd have a very sore finger.
Well, yeah, we had Thor fingers to begin with.
Thor fingers.
Because like
Thor fingers, hammers of the gods.
I remember wanting to go to the movies, and you call the movie theater and the line's busy. You need to keep on calling. You got to find out the time, when a movie.
Yeah. This is movie phone.
Oh, I didn't call that. I just called the theater. You call the theater.
Okay. All right. Well, so basically, everybody see how Jason Todd could have lived December 12th. Next.
I'm surprised they didn't accidentally put that out when they did the death one, like they do sometimes with like the president covers and stuff that they put out. Like they put out both covers just in case.
Oh yeah. Well.
The crossword puzzles like thing too.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what's next.
All right, we have the Resurrection of Magneto with cover art by Stefano Caselli. So, and this, Leo, is where I've given you the link to the video if we want to play it or not. this is part of the fall of the House of X and the Rise of X. Al Ewing and artist Luciano Vecchio are bringing Magneto back to life in a 4-issue limited series that's going to be released on January 24th, 2024, as announced at New York Comic Con. The way this ties into the Fall of the House of Usher. Sorry, hold on the brain right now. Fall of the House of X line. Yeah, well, we were just talking about Poe in that show before this with my family. But basically, last October, Magneto died in Storm's arms in X-Men Red #7. He was defending Arakko from Uranos, who he did end up defeating, but he died. So Storm took his seat on the seat of loss, and now she has to bring him back to try and prevent the fall of the House of X. But after everything that he's gone through, he might not be so thrilled at being brought back. So this is kind of, and this was a short little thing that they had linked there that was just kind of showing what's going on, the rise and fall of X.
Do they continue to go back to everybody hating mutants all the time?
Yes.
Like, don't get me wrong, I understand the significance, but it's kind of a beaten to the death story.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to play the whole thing.
The Avengers at this point.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like,
yeah,
I think that it's just the X-Men have always operated best when the world hated them. When the world accepts them, it's like, what? But why?
But come on.
And that's also I don't know. I think these trailers are a weird move.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like it's just a waste of like,
AI.
I don't know. This isn't the same. It's just not the same. And then to see the comics moving, I'm just like, I don't know.
I mean, the artwork's cheesy. Like, yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, I should have just gotten a couple of clips from that, but we had so much artwork.
I'm sorry. What were you saying, Rich?
I took a similar trailer animation from the what is it, the Ultimate Universe. They did one for that as well, and the basic commentary I was getting was like, I hope the comic's not like this.
Yeah, it's just weird because it's like they make it look like it's moving, but they're still showing it. I'm just like, this is like I feel like they try to make it out. Oh, this is really important. I'm like, you're kind of killing the buzz, you know?
Yeah, and DC's doing the 3D characters, which is real cheesy as well.
It's just let it die. Like, let this fad die. But
and just show the actual artwork that they have already.
Yeah.
Have somebody talking over it, explaining, giving some hints about what the story might be.
Move along.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So Magneto coming back. Why the hell
Is
not?
anybody surprised? No.
Deaths mean nothing to
Every day.
Yeah, they were saying like could have been brought back in Krakoa, but it fell. So now you got to bring back a different one.
I don't know. All right. What's next? Yes. Okay. I'm ready. Okay.
Oh yeah.
The official now we've been talking for a while that they're relaunching the Ultimate Universe. We saw this at the end of the Ultimate Invasion. So we've already talked about Ultimate Universe issue 1, which is coming out in November. But now we have the official announcement, not just for Spider-Man, which we already know is John Hickman and Marco Cicchetto, but now we have announced that there will be an Ultimate Black Panther series and an Ultimate X-Men series. So Ultimate Spider-Man, January 10th, John Hickman, Marco Cicchetto. Essentially, after the events of Ultimate Invasion, the world needs a hero. Who will rise up to that responsibility? The question being is, who is this going to be? Is it Peter? Is it Miles? Is it someone else? Hickman did tease. He said, Ultimate Spider-Man is a book I never thought I'd be writing. It's a bit of a Peter B. Parker situation. Now, that nod is, of course, to the version of Peter that we saw in Spider-Verse. So, I don't know. Could be something there. Ultimate Black Panther, Leo, if you can keep rolling. I wasn't done. Thank you. Ultimate Black Panther, Brian Hill, Stefano Caselli. In the wake of Ultimate Invasion, Khonshu and Ra aka the forces behind Moon Knight, are seeking to expand their control of Africa. In response, the isolated nation of Wakanda will send its champion, the Black Panther, to rise against them. So Brian Hill, who we've seen do Killmonger and Blade, Stefano Caselli, who did X-Men Red, Avengers. He also did some Spider-Man back in the Dan Slott era. He said he's extremely excited about this. He said his influence range from Ryan Coogler's movies to Frank Herbert's Dune. So I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. And then, of course, Ultimate X-Men is very simple. Peach Momoko is doing both the art and she's writing it. It's her vision of mutant kind. And we've seen she has just been everywhere.
Yeah,
she had the X-Men Demon Days book that sold like hotcakes. She's doing the Star Wars Visions book, which is supposed to be, they're saying it's gonna be a big success. So she's doing the X-Men. So she said it might not be the normal portrayal of a superhero, but like my Momoko verse stories, she's excited to introduce everybody to the new world. So Spidey is January 10th, Ultimate Black Panther February 7th, and Ultimate X-Men March 6th. I am pumped.
When's Ultimate X-Men coming out?
Ultimate X-Men March 6th. All this is 2024.
So you're saying it'll still be cold out when that comes out?
Yes.
So you can have Coco while reading your Momoko?
Okay. I said this to the one ginger in the show.
Leo,
I'm going to say this to the other ginger in the show. Get out. Okay. So what does everyone else think? Leo can't talk right now. He's on timeout for next week.
Yet, but I'm excited to see what happens. Like bringing in the whole the master has gone and just wrecked shit up has got me really excited in Invasion. And so I was looking and be like, how could he get into Wakanda? Oh shit, he already did in the other world, so that would maybe some of the things that he did that they thought were redundancies. And don't give me spoilers if it's in the thing, but we're set up in such a way so that they could release all of this if it went well. And I'm very excited about seeing these new comics come out because
agreed.
I'm all about the ultimate stuff. You got me addicted, dude. So
you're welcome. So Jeremy, you're next. I mean, what?
Peach Momoko is so prevalent, I guess, in comics right now, and I have no idea really who she is except for these little tidbits that we say on the show.
Right.
So I'm probably going to need to educate myself about her sooner or later. So probably with this, since she's writing and doing the art, probably be a good introduction to her stuff.
I can also give you a list if you want.
I need something like she's blowing up at the cons that she goes to. They talk about her in my comic group.
Okay.
Comic book lovers buy, sell, trade, and auction house.
Good, nice plug.
So they talk about her in she's like Neil Adams or something like that. Like she's already a legend before her time. I guess.
Yeah. So, but So, and then Rich, what do you think?
Ditto to what Jar Jar just said.
Yes.
Very succinct. Nicely done.
That's about it.
Nice.
Tight. Keep it tight, boys.
I mean, listen, I'm excited. I think it would have been a step backwards if all they did is we just revisited the old Ultimate Universe, which again, you all know I loved. Minus its flaws. It was a great.
Well, I think it would have been a bad idea to revisit that one since they destroyed it.
Yeah. So I think, again, I like what Hickman did. I think he did a good way of paying homage to what Bendis and Millar and a lot of other great creators did with the Ultimate Universe, but it's the Ultimate Universe for this time. And I think that that's going to be really exciting because, again, the point of the Ultimate Universe is to tell stories that we can't tell in modern day continuity. So, I'm really looking forward to see what him and these other creators are going to do with it, because if they follow what Millar and Bendis did, this could be really great. So I'm excited, but we all knew that. Next, please.
Yep. Oh, yep.
Carrie, this is you.
Oh, okay. So the twins are reunited. Steve Orlando and Lorenzo Tometa will be reuniting the Maximum twins in a 4-part limited series in February 24th on the 60th anniversary of their first appearance in 1964's X-Men #4. Orlando is currently writing his own run of the Scarlet Witch. And the quote about this one is, "We've been doing so much work with Wanda, and we wanted to spotlight the diversity of her powers and the dynamic things she can do. It's really exciting to do the same and give the same love to Pietro during the 60th anniversary. But it's not just about his powers. It's about who he is and bringing him back into his chosen family narrative we're doing. So you won't just see Pietro back in the book. You'll see Pietro with members of the extended Maximoff family that he hasn't gotten a ton of time to spend with before."
Okay.
So happy
Now,
families. And his dad's
Magneto-
coming back from the dead, so that's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, Magneto's their dad, so is he going to be part of the story?
I'm
I don't know.
hoping so. I mean, you never know.
I'm just hoping that we're going into an age where Marvel has a better understanding of what stories are short stories and what stories are longer stories and what stories are continuing. Because sometimes they do these continuing series. I'm like, this was a 4-issue book, guys. Like, you bled this dry.
They've done better though than they did way back in the day. I rereading through like the Rise of the Midnight Suns and all that, like I was doing before. You pull up and you're like, okay, I just want to get to the end of it. Okay, but this says this happened in this. Okay, so I have to go over here and read this.
Right.
And you end up following like
filler.
Yeah, for like a 15, 20 issue thing or something like that, you end up reading like 50 comics because you have to come down and figure out, why did this happen? Okay, now I need to go buy this other book that I'm not even a collector of because they showed up for 1 issue in it and it happened. So yeah.
I need just to say this. Thank God these shows only happen twice a year. Oh my God, there's so much news. if every week we had to do all this much news, I'd be like, okay, no. I need another map.
So big question, is it really Pietro or is it Ralph Boner?
Boner. It's a boner.
When did you get funny, Leo?
This show. It's killing me over
He's
here.
got the light on.
I'm like, is this what exhaustion looks like? Your sense of humor? I was like, you've been hanging out with me too much.
White light shines on Leo.
It's very little sleep, So,
Dear God, man. This is great. We exhaust Leo. He becomes a ginger me. It's great. Wonderful. Moving on, please. Next.
Oh, I think this is me.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it you or is that Vision?
That's Vision or a Vision.
That could be Jar if he's hitting the weights. That
All
could
right,
be
you guys
Jar.
want the long or the short version?
Whatever works, buddy.
All right, let's do the long version. What was that?
Hold on.
What was
the
that?
heck's going on there?
What was
Carrie,
that?
what are you doing?
Sorry, I was wiping my lens real quick. I forgot to mute.
It's like.
Sorry.
All right. So back in 1994, it's time to hit the Wayback Machine, ladies and gentlemen. The iconic characters of Marvel Comics burst to life through the unmatched artistic talents of Greg and Tim Hindlebrandt, two celebrated luminaries in the realm of science fiction and fantasy. Their creation, the unforgettable Marvel Masterpiece 3 trading card set. Now, I don't know if you guys were big fans of the trading cards back in the day, but I collected a bunch of them. I think I still have a few Trapper Keepers full of them. As we approach the 30th anniversary, Marvel Comics is preparing to pay homage to this artistic brilliance. They are set to proudly unveil a spectacular collection of variant covers adorned with the breathtaking artwork of the brother Hindlebrandt from Marvel's Masterpiece 3, featuring over 150 exquisitely painted illustrations. These iconic artworks showcase the brothers Hindlebrandt's unmatched mastery of the Marvel Universe. Their timeless renditions of beloved heroes and formidable villains have etched in it's good stuff.
See,
It's pretty sweet.
yeah, Jar. I was like, please breathe.
Oh, you're telling me. Oh,
Yeah.
I should have did the short version. The short version was much better, much tighter.
So we need to collect cards back again.
No. This is
120
variant covers.
Oh,
Wow.
Fuck that.
They're making the covers from the cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, geez.
But Leo, they're
I like
not
the
doing
perspective on
150 variant covers, buddy.
Oh, they are. No. That would kill you.
How many variant covers are there going to be, Jar Jar?
Right now,
Oh.
it's 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ones you're looking at.
Yeah.
If it's a hit, it'll probably go on all year long and might reach the 150. But
this go on all
you know
day
what
and
though?
night.
Check it out. Check it
What?
out. The Spider-Man cover
mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
going to be on Amazing Spider-Man number 42.
Cool.
Oh,
Ooh.
And
The Vision cover is actually going to be on Avengers Inc. number 5. Like they're
See,
actually matching up the characters with the books.
Okay.
Unlike putting the Avengers special covers on Amazing Spider-Man.
What's the
You're really
Kingpin
still
one?
you're
So
really
like-
still bitter about that, aren't
oh,
you?
we get angry
Yes.
on this show. Angry. Urgh.
Hey, Tinker. I'm taking over for just a second because I wanted to see it. I thought everybody else, they have him jumping in the air and doing something. And Luke Cage, Gang Wars. Oh, shit, said it. I said it. But
Luke Cage, isn't that
what
Kingpin?
happened?
That was Kingpin, yes.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it was
it's gonna
apparently
be on
Luke
On
Cage.
Luke Cage, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Got it.
I love how everybody else is like power stance, and then Kingpin, it's like money, tiny head.
I'll beat your ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass and let it rain. Okay. All right. Well, listen, I've met, I think, Greg Hildenbrand once at a con, and he seems like a pretty nice guy. But
I used to watch him paint live on his little. He was streaming.
Yeah,
and
it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But listen, everything that was comes back.
Oh yeah. The 90s are hardcore these days.
Yeah, basically. So everyone save your overalls. So,
Woohoo.
yep. Next.
Just have to say, since you brought this up, Carrie, what's the saying? Phenomenal cosmic power, itty bitty head.
It's perspective.
A to B in living space, but moving on.
We got that. Okay,
Oh my God, Leo.
the Hulk.
Have fun.
All right. So again, at New York Comic Con, they released a preview of the sensational She-Hulk #1, and in the sensational She-Hulk #1, we have it's written by Rainbow Rowell with art by Andre Genelot and Dee Cunniffe. Established status quo of Jennifer Walters' life is that she's dating the cosmic hero Jack of Hearts, which we've seen in the past. She has made peace with Titania, and unfortunately, in this issue, Absorbing Man causes some trouble, and Ben Grimm is not happy about it. Now, what is the Punch Club, you say, or the Superpowered Fight Club, you say? Now, that was established back in the 2022 She-Hulk series, where Titania and She-Hulk ended up starting off brawling and ended up conversating that brawlers like them had no place to work on their anger and work on their skills without destroying a whole city. So they came up with an idea of a Super Punch Club, and they're going to continue that in this series. So that sounds like a pretty interesting aspect to sort of steer the sensational She-Hulk in, and it seemed to be interesting and also keeping in a comedic line of what she's done in the past. What do you think?
It makes sense to have a nice punch out group if you're just, because like you have to get the adrenaline going all the time. Otherwise, you're going to be out just, looking for starting crap with somebody who can't hold their own against you. So having everybody who wants to get in and do this super training, it sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And it also makes sense because you have so many super powered people in the Marvel Universe, much less Marvel Universe, New York. It's kind of nice you have a place where these people can duke it out and they don't have to worry about extensive property damage as well. So I say absolutely. It's cool.
Absolutely. Tony Stark doesn't always want to be writing those checks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Clean up after yourselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
So look out for the new Sensational She-Hulk coming to a comic book store near you soon.
Yep. All right.
Well,
Wow.
I think that's it for the news items. We do.
No way.
Wow.
I know. Before we get into the book, do we want to touch base on somebody that we lost last week?
You know what? Rich, we'll let you take this one.
All right. So I want to say going back about 9 months ago, I started emailing this creator. And I think you all know him. He has created Lobo, Rocket Raccoon, Ambush Bug. And yep, that's the first appearance of Lobo right there. And his name is Keith Giffen. And 2 months ago, we got lucky enough to interview him. It was incredible. He was such an interesting man. He's like a curmudgeon, but he has like this creative fire behind him that is unmistakable.
I'm sorry. From what I hear from other people, he was Keith Giffen on our show. Like, he was not faking anything. That was Keith Giffen to 100.
Yep.
It was beautiful.
Absolutely. And over 50 comic creators stepped forward after he passed, which was just last week, apparently from complications from a stroke.
Oh, wow.
Because as we had no idea that he could have been sick in any way. And clearly that was not the case. So his body just kind of gave him a hiccup, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but his memory of the amazing stories he told will be with us forever. Like I said, 50 different comic creators commented on how amazing he was, from Jim Lee to Colleen Duran to many people that worked with him. They all said that he was a curmudgeon, but he was a genius in creativity. On the show, I remember he was talking about a Dark Superman story that I was like, oh my God, I hope we get to hear that in the future, not knowing that he just 2 months later would not be with us. It was my connection to him was his son-in-law, Gavin. So we wish a lot of condolences to his family. May he rest in peace. He has a daughter, and there are people on TikTok that reached out to me that said they were family members of him and they appreciated the show. So we appreciated him. He was supposed to come back on next year. Unfortunately, that isn't going to happen. I am going to keep the relationship going with Gavin. If him or the family,
he's not coming on next year. That's
any
bullshit.
announcements. Well, maybe we can Force Ghost him. That would be amazing. But he wasn't a fan of George Lucas, as we found out.
Sorry,
there
Leo.
were a bunch of clips. I don't know if Leo got to upload any of the clips of the show.
Yeah, since they weren't in the right format, I had to try to find them in the video. So I did find some. Here's him talking about Ambush Bug. So we'll play this.
Ambush Bug was based on me, just like Cheeks was based on my son.
Oh no!
So all the weird Ambush Bug stuff was how I kind of looked at life. I mean, I didn't think anything he was doing was really funny, because I thought, well, I'd probably do the same thing in the same circumstances. Lobo, on the other hand, Lobo was oh boy, how do I put this? He was a reaction. Lobo was a reaction. I was seeing all these characters were coming out like Wolverine and the Punisher,
Right.
and he's the superhero vigilante who's not really the superhero. And I thought, yeah, that's horrifying. That's horrible. These put out these one-note characters. And I thought, well, okay, let's make fun of it. So Lobo was meant to be a direct comment on and a bashing of those characters. But he caught on. And I got really offended. And so I did, the DC came and said, we want to do Lobo in a miniseries. And I said, okay, fine. So I did, oh Lord, what was the first Lobo miniseries?
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
then it was done. After that, they had my favorite Lobo story of all time, the Lobo Paramilitary Christmas Special.
Yes, that is absolutely phenomenal. When I heard about it, I had to read it, and I was like, this is ridiculous, but it's so great.
And I'll tell you, what kept me on the book that long was Simon Bisley, who was really advancing as an artist.
I do have, let's see, him talking about Muhammad Ali, and then I also have.
That was a great story.
And Leo, before you jump onto that, speaking about Lobo, and doing some research today, apparently Stanley's favorite DC character was Lobo.
Oh.
Well, Rich, I doubt it was going to be Funky Fleischman, so
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
We'll play to Muhammad Ali, then we'll finish up with another Lobo story. So here we go.
Okay.
I was threatened by Muhammad Ali. It's gotten that bad.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a story I'd like to hear.
Seriously.
Walking out of a convention, walking down the stairs. I think it was the garden. Walking down the stairs outside, I bump into a guy, and it was like bumping into a tree. Literally spun me around. I was staggering down the steps. I look up, it's Muhammad Ali. He reaches over, he grabs me by the shoulder. He sort of hoists me a little off the ground. He goes, I could break you. And lets me go. And
wow.
Wow. 6 months before Star Wars hit, I slammed into a full body slam with George Lucas in the Marvel offices. Mm-hmm. And his papers flew everywhere. So the only conversation I had with George Lucas was, what's where you're going, asshole?
It's still funny.
Yeah, it's great seeing that. Yeah, he was awesome.
The one thing I notice is the small things. Like, it's one of those where, because I don't rewatch our lives after, because I'm always afraid looking at myself. I'm like, you look ridiculous. Can't you sit still? The hell are you looking at? But I don't know if you guys see the whole time Rich is just beaming. He's like, oh my God, this is here. Oh my God, yes, I'm so happy. You're beaming. It's just shining off of you.
Yeah,
like I almost had to look at sunglasses.
That was a huge get for us, and I was honored, and sharing those stories were just amazing. I loved every second of it, and I'm very sad that he's gone. And I remember the day that it dropped. I remember we were talking in the messenger behind the screen, because he made a joke about he put a Facebook post out, apparently post-mortem, me not knowing that. He said that he was sick, and that was any excuse not to go to New York Comic Con. And then I think like literally 10 minutes later, Drew was like, yeah, he just died. And I'm like, what? No, that's got to be wrong. And it was right. So
yeah. Well, Paul Levitz, who I took a class with, who was a former, he was DC writer for a long time. He worked with Keith, I believe, on Legion of Superheroes, and he's also one of the DC editor-in-chief for a time being, or someone high up. He had posted it, and I was like, well, I mean, him, and funny enough, Bleeding Cool. Normally, I don't really pay attention to a lot of Bleeding Cool stuff, but I was like, well, that's two sources. I was like, and I felt so bad because, Rich, you were like, no. Like, he just made this thing about me, and Mitch commented on it. And later on, more people, and you're like, oh, I guess he really did. And you were like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because, we thought we'd have at least a couple more years. Hey, Jeff.
Jeff says
Jeff.
hi. Says nice shirt, Jar Jar.
I'm telling you, all the bitches love this shirt.
But you are engaged, so
So George Sweater brings all the bitches to the yard.
Yes.
Yeah, except if they've got kryptonite, because their kryptonite ain't better than yours.
This last clip for Lobo is a little bit long. It's 2 minutes.
Oh my God, that's so long.
And 42 seconds. So we'll let that play, and then we will go to Scooby Doo.
Like our moment of silence.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
There's an actor. It was an actor. This is called Andy Brynarski.
Mm-hmm.
he's huge and he's muscular, and that was what like. Lobo should at least have somebody who's verging on 7 feet tall, probably taller, and muscular, and not very bright. And the problem with Lobo is they keep trying to make a Lobo movie and make him the hero. And I said, no. You approach Lobo the same way you approach Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees.
Mhm.
He's the big villain. The villain drives the piece. Introduce he's going to assassinate the president, and some spunky Secret Service agent foils it. Or just introduce another character to go up against him. Lobo's the bad guy. If he was in a Fantastic Four movie, he'd be Dr. Doom.
Right.
No.
So to bounce back with Lobo, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this already, but with the reboot of DC happening, in the theaters, what are your thoughts on some fans asking for Jason Momoa to be recast as Lobo?
He'd work. He'd work as a character. I think I don't bother with the casting of the characters. I have certain people I picture as the characters, yeah, but I think Momoa would be good. I think Momoa would be good, but I haven't seen Momoa do comedy, and I've learned that like everyone goes, well, what about The Rock?
No.
Physically, he'd be kind of right, but his comedy is broad.
Right.
He lays into the joke. And Lobo, you can't lay into the joke. You just got to say it and move on and wait maybe 15, 20 minutes and people go, oh my God, that was horrible.
Yeah.
And that was the
Lobo.
idea. That was the whole idea with Lobo. It was, how can I push it far enough? I once told who was Dick Giordano on Lobo. I said, look, I'm going to do this Lobo miniseries, and I might do a few afterwards. But the first time you come at me, ask me to change something, I walk.
It's so funny about Lobo because I'd seen him in certain other things, like featured in a comic.
Yeah, so we'll definitely miss him. He was definitely a character and didn't mince words, that's for sure.
Oh no!
What?
Yeah.
Watching you guys do that interview was just like all those questions go out the window.
I think that was one of the few interviews where all of us had a collective deer in the headlights thing.
Oh yeah.
Because we would ask questions and he would be like, "Yeah, I fucking hated that," or I didn't remember that," and it was just more of okay, readjust.
Yeah,
and
but he said he had a good time. He was willing to come back, so obviously it was fun for him. So I'm glad we were able to give him a great experience. And I'm not 100% sure, but I scoured the internet pretty hard. I think we might have been his last podcast.
That's crazy.
I know the last one cut a little odd there. Drew, that's when you called me to let me know that I didn't make the event. I was in the middle of editing, so it's like, oh fuck.
Sorry.
Oh, Drew killed it.
Listen, and I have nobody to blame but for myself being interrupted, but me. So that's about accurate. So, but correct me if I'm wrong, Rich. This is why we chose the book we did, because that was one of the few titles that we talked about with Keith that he really enjoyed working on.
Correct. He said it was one of his favorite titles. His favorite was March Hare, which was a rare independent stuff that he wrote. But this is, as far as his mainstream, this is his favorite mainstream that he ever did, which would be Scooby Apocalypse. Not Scooby-Doo Apocalypse, Scooby Apocalypse.
Yes, relief to do at home.
And I
or
don't know what you guys thought about that book, but I thought the depiction of the whole gang was just amazing. I thought between Keith's vision and J.M. Dematis or Demeteus, depending on who you're talking about it, or the history with him. Yeah, he had quite a bit of exposition in it, and they made fun of that in almost every cover. So Good time.
And then you also have these phenomenal. Either you have Howard Porter, who did just his artwork has always been great.
Yeah.
Or then you have of course, the amazing Jim Lee covers.
Yeah. And let's not forget Howard Porter also worked on Justice League International, also with Keith back in the day.
Yep, absolutely. It all ties in. I was a fan of Scooby-Doo as a kid. I think pretty much anybody who watched cartoons, especially ones in the 80s, 90s, and now I can say in the 2000s, you've watched Scooby-Doo at one point or another.
Yeah.
And, Scooby has gone through a lot of changes. I mean, obviously, when you look at the 60s to the current Scooby, obviously you had to upgrade things. But I liked what they did with this. I felt like it was a clever way to modernize them and make them different enough to acclimate to this current timeline, but also still stay true to their characters as we know them.
I say they were on point for all their characters.
Yeah.
Nobody, like you read them and you were just like, yeah, that's Shaggy. That's Velma.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was. No writing for these characters where you just like they would never say that. They would never do that.
Yeah,
you can incorporate the appetites of Shaggy and Scooby, and it's all done in a way where it doesn't seem like too silly or anything.
Yeah, and I feel like going with the horror approach, it upped the ante in a way that really brought out the best in the characters. Because we were so used to. It's like in the show, they believed every villain they ever faced was actually like a spooky supernatural threat. Mm-hmm. So in this case, the entire world was a spooky supernatural threat. Right. So it kind of felt like Scooby-Doo 2, when the monsters are actually real.
Right. But I like, this is kind of like in real world, because I love the way that they explain how Scooby can talk. There's tech associated with that. And then on the opposite end of that, Scrappy-Doo, who is evil in this.
Right.
Is he evil or just misunderstood?
No, he's evil. He's evil. He's evil. Later on, he gets a little less evil. Because then it's like, I'm a bad dog, but some of it was because I'm a motherfucking alpha.
And the last issue of the arc that we read, the first 6,
right.
Which kind of gets into who the 4 that are behind this apocalypse, possibly behind the apocalypse, really got me excited. And I'm like, oh, now I actually want to read, because it was getting to a point I was like, oh, well, there's zombies and now they're going into monsters. I guess that's Scooby-esque, but it's really not making sense to the story right now.
Right.
And I was like, all right, well, that just tied me all back again to make it personal. With them being, I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but
well,
yippee-yo.
Yeah. So Carrie and Leo, what did you two think? Because this is a democracy, so everybody gets to talk.
Go for it, Carrie.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. The artwork was wow, not what I was expecting at all, and it was a much more progressive story than I was expecting as well. I wasn't, I was thinking Scooby-Doo, and then it was just like, oh wow, this is an entirely different world we're putting all the characters in. But it does, like you were saying, all makes sense the way they were cast. They didn't start out all knowing each other, but there were tie-ins with each of them enough to where they were connected. And then when you have an apocalypse going on, it forces characters to become a party, like more, to
totally.
You act more like a friend with somebody if it's like you're one of 5 people against the world than you would if you just met somebody. So I think and all the explanations behind like Scooby's tech and things like that. So how he's able to communicate, why Shaggy was there. It was very cohesive. It was very good.
Yeah, totally.
I will finish reading it probably.
Yeah, Leo, what did you think?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's I loved Scooby-Doo growing up, and this here, as I'm reading, I'm hearing the cartoons in my head. I love the relationship between Shaggy and Scooby. Where Shaggy's a dog trainer. I love that they went that aspect, and I adore that Scooby is not the runt of the litter, but he's sort of like the defect from the from the tests, and he was going to be put down, and Shaggy's like, no, it's absolutely. It was a lot of fun to read, and it was a great story.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And like I said, it's just the way that they came together. And on top of it, I think that's the thing with teams is you have to make it organic. Because if it's just a little too far-fetched, you can't pull your audience in. Like, it makes sense how all of them would end up sticking together. And then, of course, everything important, right down to how Scooby met Shaggy, right down to how he can talk, right down to the mystery machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they call it the mystery machine. It's like, ha-ha!
And Daphne knowing how to use guns.
Yeah. She's a badass.
She had that Princess Leia moment. She's like, oh, Daddy took me.
And then you have the arts. I mean, Howard Porter, I believe, is the art for most of this. I mean, he has had just such experience drawing through his career. At one point, he was one of the main artists for Grant Morrison's run of JLA. So, if you ever work with Grant Morrison, you're going to be drawing a lot of weird shit. So,
and terribly nice guy, too. I met him at a local signing once. Terribly nice guy.
What, Howard?
Yeah, Howard. And I remember he like banged out 3 little 4x6 sketches for Logan at the time, like in no time flat, like 15 minutes. So
that's amazing. He's been on my list for years, especially because I loved Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. And it's funny because that was one of the main times I actually met Keith at cons, was to get him to sign Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. And he would always sing such praises about how him and JM would they will write it till whenever. It was 35 issues. At one point, Keith wasn't writing it, so it was solely JM. But it's a solid book, man. And at that time, DC had acquired a lot of these Hanna-Barbera titles, and they were doing series with these. This one, I believe, is one of the more successful.
Yeah, this crazy or Wacky Raceland.
Wacky Race,
really good one. The Flintstones did really well. I enjoyed it.
I still want to read that.
And then don't forget our beloved Future Quest was also a part of this.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't the Looney Tunes meets DC era, but this one, like I said, this was just absolutely a great story, and I can't recommend it enough to Scooby-Doo fans. Like, beautiful. All the Scooby snacks.
Only criticism I have is, good Lord, JM, little few less thought bubbles or word bubbles.
Yeah,
it was a lot of reading, that's for sure.
He really wanted to establish those characters, get that.
Oh, he did.
That get all the dialogue. Make sure you knew.
Yeah, you knew. Yeah, I think it became tough for one of the editors because they had one of the word bubbles coming out of Shaggy's mouth, but it was definitely Velma's voice.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah,
I was like,
what's going on here?
Yeah, but great stuff.
Oh yeah.
But that's
criticism. That's the only thing I could find wrong.
I think there were a couple of them where it was like they had the thought on the page before and the page after with some of the lead-ins to what, like Shaggy was thinking something, but you didn't find out what that thought was until you flipped the page, or why that thought was there until you flipped the page. But
Daphne's back and forth. She's an emotional roller coaster.
Oh yeah.
She's just like, I hate you. I love you guys. I hate you. You guys are doing great. I hate you.
Poor Fred.
You know what I just noticed, since this is, I'm looking at it big on a screen now.
Yeah.
Look at all the boxes. They're all
Oh yeah.
crooked,
Yeah.
giving you like a sense of uneasiness.
Oh,
It's just slightly turned.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
All detail.
Yeah, I don't think I noticed that in reading it, but now when I see it now,
Yeah, I didn't notice it when I was reading it.
The artwork.
Yeah, there
is
were a
fantastic.
couple where they kept very much the same with the same skewedness. There's certain couple of patterns that they fall back on of different sideways arrangements. Everything was really well planned out and executed.
yeah,
For those who do go on to read more of this, it gets really dark.
Yes, it does.
We lose one of the.
No, but.
all right.
Yeah, but this is definitely worth the read. So if you're a fan of Scooby-Doo, like all of us clearly were, please read this book. It is worth the support.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great story. If there wasn't a Scooby-Doo, if it was just some dog with the cyber attachment, I would be just as enthralled with this story. This was
Absolutely
great, which only contributes to Keith and JM's talent. They made a great team on this book.
Yeah, I agree. If it wasn't the Scooby Gang, the premise and everything is still a really good story.
Absolutely. So just another testament to how much of a great storyteller and collaborator Keith Giffen was, and we remember you Bastiche.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you for sure. So, should we rate this book, boys and girls?
Before we do, Jar Jar, do you see the speech bubble starting with "check it"?
Where check it?
On the right.
Yep, check it out, Scoob.
You want to read that in a Scooby voice?
In a Scooby voice or a Shaggy voice?
Oh, sorry, Shaggy voice.
Check it out, Scoob. Mrs. Rockberry's Saturn. I hold on, I can't PS the box.
Oh, I can see it. Hold on. Whoa, check it out, Scoob. Mrs. Hawkberry's Saturn pies. Boxes up. No fucking way. Wow.
What?
What am I missing?
Leo, is that
something too?
Is that the Lex Luthor stealing the pies reference?
I just read that. Like I remember hearing like almost that exactly from the cartoon, but I don't know if that's a reference to something.
Oh no, you're right. They said that in the show. I'm sorry, I saw pies and I got confused about Lex Luthor stealing pies. All right, so I say we rate this for some Scooby snacks and then bounce.
All right, I'm gonna start it.
Okay, go for it, Shaggy. Man, Jeremy.
I'm gonna call it a 4.85.
Wow.
So close to perfection, but nothing's perfect.
Okay.
It's got the nostalgia. It brings everything to a new frontier. It's everything except for good Lord, I could have used a few less words.
Thank you, Jeremy. We got that.
Next,
Leo.
I'm gonna copy Jar Jar. Yeah, 4.85 Scooby snacks. Yeah, the artwork was great. The story was great. It was a lot of fun reading it, and yeah, I just thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right, Terry.
I'm going to cut back just a hair and go with 4.75 because it was really good, but I do have my I have to have something that I save for my perfection levels, and it was great though. I highly recommend it to pretty much everybody. Yeah.
Sure. And for me, I also agree with the guys. It's a 4.85. Like I said, my only issue with the story is I thought some of the monsters were a little weird, spinning off, and but they brought it back again with the 4, and I'm in there again. So it's still solid. Again, not perfect, like Jeremy said, but really close. And I'm going to miss you, Keith, and we're going to miss our second episode with you, and we'll be thinking about you and doing more tribute shows to you in the future. And those clips will live on forever.
Indeed. I'm going to go with all of everybody, 4.85. Everything they said, I agree with. So what a great way to end the show.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Leo, take us out.
Yeah, with that, I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. My camera.
El gato.
El gato.
He's the cat.
El gato.
Yeah, what the heck? I'm sorry.
Commercials.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, move on.
There you go.
Hey, everybody. Carrie Sanders. You can catch me on Facebook for all of my links when I'm not here with the wonderful gents over in the Dorkening. Me and Ratatosker the Squirrel are over on the Owlite Network doing a whole bunch of storytelling stuff. So check us out over there.
Okay.
And it's your man, Velvet J, here on another successful podcast here of the Splash Pages on Tuesday night. And you can find me on all the different networks, but mostly on TikTok. So Velvet Joker 1 is where you can find me. And passing on over to Drewy.
Okay, hey everybody. I'm Drew. You can find me on Facebook. I'm Ghostbuster Man 1984. Don't you dare! God, fuck every show.
I knew he was over there.
So I'm also trying to make a transition back to working for Screen Rant. So we're going to be posting those articles on Facebook. I was noted on Wiki a couple of times, and I'm just kind of there, just kind of doing it. So if you want to say hi, there's a 50% chance I'll see it, but a 50% chance I might forget. So roll that dice.
Hey, I'm Jar Jar Jeremy. This is the end of Splash Pages. Check me out every week here on Tuesday nights, every week Wednesday night at 9 o'clock on Midweek Geeks, and sometimes over on Still Token with the Dead. I'm there, possibly this Thursday, because they're doing a Thursday show instead of a Wednesday show. I don't know.
Yeah,
and then also, I know.
I was going to say that's my date night, so it's like
I know.
Yeah.
That's why they called me.
Yep.
I'm Fleo. Sort of. Not really, though. I'm just a monkey in front of the keyboard. And then also check out my new show, The Re-Education of Nancy Ann Ritter, which has 2 episodes are out. They're fantastic according to people, and I think they're pretty good. They're listenable.
They're great.
Yeah, I'm so good at promoting myself.
Wonderful. All right.
It exists.
And you can find that on YouTube on what channel,
Wicked
Jar Jar?
Horror Show channel.
Wicked Horror Show channel.
So, hey, Leo, do you want to end the show and finish talking about who you were at the same time? Because go.
Yeah, you know me. Bye.
Wonderful. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.